Hello, everyone.
Hey, welcome to this week's episode of the Eagle's Eye.
We're very excited to not be at school. We are in a different place.
Where are we, Ben?
We are at the Elmwood Park Zoo.
At the Special Needs Prom.
Yes, we are. And just like this, how this is kind of like a reception in a way, we've got the Scribbler coming up.
Yeah, the newspaper, or no, the magazine for this.
Yeah, the school literary magazine.
Yeah, you get to write poems and submit them, and they're having a reception for it.
Yep, so why don't we go check out a little bit of information about the Scribbler.
Go check it out.
Hello, I'm John Maxey, and today I'm joined by Mr. Schaefer to talk about the Scribbler Reception. How are you doing, Mr. Schaefer?
I'm very good, thanks, John.
All right, so when's this reception going to be happening this year?
The reception for the Scribbler is May 21st, 2015, and it starts at 2:30 p.m.
Okay, and where's it going to be held?
It's going to be held again in the Norristown Area High School Library.
All right, and who's invited to come to the event?
Well, we invite everybody to come to the Scribbler reception. We invite of course, our staff and the students of Norristown Area High School, and we also have some invited guests coming.
Okay, so what's generally the process at the reception? What tends to happen?
Well, the reception is a culmination of all the events and all the stuff that the Scribbler staff has done throughout the year. And this is where we read the selections that are going to be published or will be published that day. Also, we give out the prizes for the top poem and the top short story, as well as the cover photograph.
Okay, so any students that do get their works published can come and read their poem to everyone?
Absolutely. We encourage the writers to read their works, with the exception of the short story. It goes on for a few pages, so we're just going to have the author read an excerpt. But the poets are encouraged to read their selection. They can decline if they want. We're not forcing anybody to do it. And we'll also feature the photographs and the artwork. We'll have the artist or the photographer stand up.
Okay, I know you mentioned you pick winners every year. How does that process work?
The process is called a blind process, where someone will submit a poem or a short story, and we'll take off the author's name so that we don't have any subjectivity. It's all objective. We lay out all the poems and all the short stories on desks, and we just go around and we score them on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being not so good and 5 being what we want to publish. And then we just pick the ones with the highest scores out of all the people who read them, and those are the ones that get published.
Who are some of the people that do get to read them and judge them?
Well, we have all of our staff members. We don't have a very large staff this year, but our two editors, Janelle Edgard and Jacinia Soto, lead the charge. And some of the submissions, for example, if Jacinia had written a poem, she cannot judge her own, of course, because she would give it a 5 so that she could get published. But it's a tedious process. It's not an easy process. There are over 70 poems that you have to look at, and we do this over a 2-day period because it's intense. You have to read the poem and you have to decide, is this what we want in our magazine, or should we push it off till next year? And then once we get all the poems scored, and then we have them laid out, a pretty broad spectrum from all the way from the 4s and the 5s down to the 1s, and we have to make a decision where we're going to cut it off.
Okay.
And that's not an easy decision, but the staff does a good job every year.
So who is able to submit? Is it just students, or is it open to
Students, faculty, and staff. This year we had more faculty submit than ever before.
That's great.
And I was real happy about that. Fortunately or unfortunately, only one staff member is being published, and that's me. But that's neither here nor there, John. As I said, it's done with a blind method, so they did not know that
they didn't know it was yours.
that poem was mine. But we encourage everybody. Some of the staff members say, "Well, I'm not really good at this," and some people think the English teacher that they should all get published. Some of them don't submit, some of them forget to submit, and some do submit but don't get published.
Okay. How do the students get involved with the Scribbler?
We encourage anybody who wants to be a member of the staff to contact me in room 326. I'd like sophomores, juniors, and seniors, just because they have a feeling of what the Scribbler is and what direction we want to take it in. But if there's a freshman that wants to take a chance, they need to apply. They need to fill out an application. We need to check that, make sure that they're passing all their classes. I'll say this, John, the staff that we have, and this is not bragging because these young people have done a lot of work, they're all at the top of their class, or they're all honor students. Maybe they're not in the top 5 or top 10, but they're all very good students, and they realize that being a part of the Scribbler is not a right, it's a privilege.
Okay. So back to the reception, are you going to have copies of the actual Scribbler?
Absolutely. We're going to print this afternoon. It goes to publication, and everybody who was a sponsor or a patron to the Scribbler gets a free copy. Everybody who's published gets a free copy, and then we'll have additional copies on sale for $5 at the reception. That $5 goes to cover the cost of the publication, some of the reception, and is able to carry over for next year.
Okay. I know in the actual published Scribbler, there's someone can submit a photo or something like that for the cover and back cover. How does that work?
We had about 25 submissions of artwork and photographs, and we do it the same way. We throw the image up on the screen, and we decide whether it's a 1 through a 5, and then we decide which ones we want to publish and which ones we don't. Of the ones that we want to publish, and there's about, I'd say 10, then we push them aside and we look at them and we say which one would look best on the cover, which one's the best. I guess not which one looks best on the cover, but which one is the best. And that one we put on the cover. The second best is put on the back cover. Sort of like not the greatest honor to be put on the back cover, but it's on the outside, and whether you put the Scribbler upside down or right side up, you're going to see one of the photographs.
And it's printed all in color, correct?
It's all in color. The Scribbler is totally in color. Now, of course, the poems are black and white, but everything, we try to get all the color of the photographs, and that probably plays into some of the decision making. I know that some of the paintings have some really vibrant colors, and some of them have some muted shades, and we try to bring out everything. We don't cut, we don't edit, we don't crop, we don't enlarge. Whatever was submitted, that's what's going in the Scribbler.
All right. So how many years has this Scribbler reception been
Well, the
going on?
Scribbler started back in 1950s, but the reception under my tutelage has been going on now for 4 years.
All right. And what's the importance of having the reception every year, allowing students to come and read their works in front of everyone?
Well, John, you're an athlete, and you know that the championship match is the highlight of your season. That's where you want to go. Well, this is our championship match, and it's a chance for the students and the staff to be highlighted for their hard work. And it's also a tease for people who didn't get in the Scribbler this year or last year. They'll say, well, I think I'm going to try harder to get in next year. And so that's why we hold a reception.
All right. And just when is it happening again? What
It's May
time?
21st. It's 2:30, and it's in the high school library. There will be food there. So if you have some time after school on Thursday, and you want to stop by, you don't have to stay for the whole reception. You want to pick up a copy for $5 and be on your way, that's fine too.
All right. Do you have anything else to add, Mr. Schaefer?
We just want to thank Mr. Smith, the principal of Norristown High School, and also Dr. Samuels. They've been behind us since the beginning, and we appreciate all their support. I also want to thank Mr. Christ at the Norristown Area School District Graphics Department for helping us with publishing it.
All right. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, John.
I'm John Maxey, and I just talked with Mr. Schaefer about the Scribbler reception. It's going to be on May 21st, 2:30 p.m. in the back of the library. Now back to the Eagle's Eye.